Welcome back, everybody. This is Mog once more here, playing some Project Zomboid for you folks, but not a normal LP. We're going to be doing a beginner's guide for you folks today, providing some priority on things you want to do first off when you create your character, as well as some helpful tips in the remaining days or months, hopefully if you're lucky, in the story of how you died. When you first create your character, you'll be given a randomly generated one. Feel free to continue to hit that random button or customize it any way you like. The next page that you're going to see is the Occupation and Traits selection page. First thing you're going to do is select yourself an occupation from the list and get a free trait or two. The next thing you're going to want to do is select any additional traits that you want to take for your character's build to augment for your playstyle. The green traits that are listed in there are ones that will add positive effects, but they do cost a little bit to actually get. So what you need to do to balance that is choose some negative traits listed in red to counterbalance. There's some great strategies out there. Take a look at the subreddits and forum pages for some suggestions if you really like, but that's the basics of traits. Once you're ready to play the game, the first thing you're going to want to do is familiarize yourself with the UI. There are a few buttons on your left that'll open up your health and character screens as well as your skill screens and inventory. The two circles in the top left are your primary slot on the top and secondary slot on the bottom. You can equip different things like weapons and bags to those slots as well as other usable items. On the top side of the screen is your actual inventory screens. On the left side of the screen by default is your personal inventory, and on the right drop down is going to be your environmental inventory, so any containers that you're looking at and or anything on the ground. At the top right hand side of your screen there's going to be the clock and calendar area. Just below that is the time warp section. Now this time warp section is only available in single player games. It is not available to multiplayer. Now that you know how to look at the UI, the next thing we're going to talk about is your priorities. Your first priority should be to find a weapon. If you spawned in the kitchen like I did, you might have quick access to either a kitchen knife if you're really desperate, a rolling pin's a little bit better than that, or maybe a frying pan if you're lucky. But the real things you want to look for are going to be a baseball bat or an axe. Even a crowbar is not a bad weapon to pick up. Your second priority after finding a weapon should be to get yourself enough food and water to stay fed and hydrated for at least a week, and keep it at your safe house. Rifle through cabinets for non-perishable goods, those are going to be your best bet, but in early game you can raid fridges for plenty of food that way as well, and you're likely to find a water bottle. Until you do find a water bottle though, you can drink directly from any sink or toilet or bathtub in any house or building you come across. This will continue to be a good source of water for you, that is until the water system runs dry in your save file. Your third priority should be to secure your safe house. Close any curtains that are already on your windows and add sheets to windows that might be missing them. Now that you have some food, water, and a weapon, it's time to find a backpack. Your best bet is probably going to be looking around in bedrooms for a school bag, duffel bag, or either type of hiking bag. There are smaller bags you can hold in your primary and secondary slots. Those can be handy in a pinch, but you're really after the ones that will equip to your back slot, because those ones provide much more weight reduction to items placed inside them. Your fifth and final priority when just starting out should be to collect medical supplies. You are going to need bandages. They are a key component of what you should always keep on you, at least a few. You can go ahead and tear apart extra clothing or extra sheets into ripped sheets that can be used as improvised bandages. You can also find plenty of other medical supplies in bathrooms and bathroom cabinets in most homes. Next, let's talk about skills and what they do for you. As you play, you will unlock skill points by filling your experience bar when doing actions that use a particular skill. This is anything from sneaking and sprinting to using weapons, constructing barricades, or even cooking. Once you have a skill point to spend, you will also need to perform a skill enough to fill one of those boxes. Once they are full, they will not continue to fill the next box until the skill point is spent to unlock the next box level. Keep in mind though, skill points get more difficult to gain due to the experience requirements getting more costly with each one you earn, so spend them wisely. Each skill level will unlock new abilities such as constructing certain furniture items. How good that furniture looks when you do craft it are dependent on your skill level as well. As such, you won't be crafting those perfectly looking wooden walls when you first start out. Now, I've looked around and watched a few other YouTube videos to put together a quick couple of tips for you all. Comment below with any great tips you think I might have left out. Check corpses. You can find almost anything. It's a great way to find an axe or a pistol. Work on your construction skill by barricading your safe house's windows and unused doors. You'll need a hammer, nails, and planks for normal barricading. Look for hardware stores or wooden crates in garages or warehouses. With higher skill comes more and more building options. Just make sure you've got an axe and a saw to keep you supplied with planks. If you're having a hard time finding a hammer or axe, grab some ripped sheets and go foraging in the woods. Stone plus tree branch plus ripped sheets makes a stone hammer. A chipped stone, a tree branch, and ripped sheets makes a stone axe. Trapping and foraging can save your life if you're starving. Forage in denser tree clusters and deep woods for berries and nuts, among other things. Foraging doesn't provide much to eat in the winter, though. Trapping requires a trap and bait to catch small animals or birds. It can be tedious and time-consuming, but unlike foraging, it can work during winter. Fishing is a great way to get food if you have the gear for it. Find yourself a fishing pole and any type of lure, including fishing lures, little bait fish, or worms. Then head to your nearest water body and get casting. Make sure to eat your perishable foods first. Most of the items you found in their fridges will be perishables, since they will go bad sooner or later. They can even go bad if your power stays on and they're kept in the fridge. It's just a slower rate of decay, so eat those first, use them in cooking. Cook your food. Most edible items can be used somehow or another in cooking, either by themselves or as part of a recipe, and it'll all earn you points for your cooking skill. If you find dead rats or mice in cupboards, you can make them into a good meal if they aren't rotten. Use a kitchen knife to butcher them into small animal meat, which can be used in stir-fry, stew, or even just by itself with no negative side effects once cooked. Animals caught with a trapping skill are butchered in the same way. You can leave salt and pepper among many other items inside stoves and ovens even while you're cooking, so keep your salt and pepper in there so you don't forget to use them when you're cooking food. A great time to read your skill books is while you're waiting for food to cook. Don't forget to shut off your oven or put out your fire pits. If you break a bone, you will need to make a splint. Forage in the woods or chop down a tree with an axe for a tree branch. Combine this with a ripped sheet to make a splint. Keep the splint on until you are moving at normal speeds again. Then take it off and check your fracture. If you still have a fracture, then resplint it and give it more time. Having a weapon equipped in both hands when possible gives you larger knockbacks and less stamina use when swinging. Be careful with guns. They can draw zombies from well off screen to your location very quickly. And last, but certainly not least, don't drink the bleach, folks. It may give you the option to do so, but it isn't worth it. Trust me. If you have any questions about any of the things that I've mentioned, please ask them in the comments section below. This has been your Captain Mog speaking. If you liked what you watched or learned something new, consider hitting that like button. Become a subscriber and join the Mog Squad today. We'll see you next time. Cheers!